Hi everyone, it's Lisa. I came on today to do something special. I was actually going to run this as a class and charge $25 because it is a lot of information that we'll be talking about today. But I decided not to do that. I decided just to come on and talk about it freely so we could discuss it and make sure everyone understands it. Hi Arun. I'm on for a different reason today. I'm actually on today to do something I was going to charge for, $25 for. But I've decided to come on and talk about it instead, which is talking about the difference between a visitation in your dreams and an actual dream state. Okay, and there is a difference. And I want to have a lot of people get on here first. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. But I wanted to have people come on to talk about this because it's something that has come up a lot, and a lot of people have asked me questions recently in private readings. What the difference is between a visitation and just a regular dream where you dream about a loved one that's crossed over. So I'm going to wait a few minutes. I'll give it about 5 minutes and see who comes on, and then we'll talk about this. Okay, we'll talk about what the difference is, how what you've experienced, and we can talk about whether it's a visitation from a loved one, whether it's a dream, etc. So like I said, if you haven't already done so, please subscribe. I am running this today for free, as opposed to charging $25 as a class. So if anyone would like to donate, feel free. Listed down below. If you open up the X, you'll see donations of love. I have PayPal and Venmo, and I appreciate any donations for my time and for the teaching of this class. Thank you. I appreciate it. I have 3 people or 4 people that are listed. It looks like 5 people are on. So if somebody's on that hasn't said hello, please do so, even if I know who you are. It's okay. I am going to be talking about the visitation versus regular dreams, and that's what in my private readings that I do, listed down below. Also, in northernlights.1, you may sign up. I'm booking into February for private readings, half-hour and hour-long private reading of mediumship as well as psychic. But mediumship is where you talk to loved ones who have crossed over, and that's what today is going to be about. Is the people that have crossed over, your loved ones who have crossed over, and the difference between the dreamlike state that you might be in, and the fact that you're actually having a visitation from them, and what that means and what the difference is. And like I said, I've had enough people ask me in private readings where I feel like it's something that I need to talk about today. So that's great. And if you haven't already subscribed, please go down below to the X, open the X and subscribe below the video, because I'm not charging for this video, so I would appreciate your support. I come on quite often and talk about different things 3 times a week or so and do different readings, but today I'm going to be talking about visitation as opposed to regular dreams. So if this doesn't interest you, which I've noticed people are leaving, and that's fine. If you need to do that, that's fine, because this is really kind of a class, if you will, a little bit of a class about visitations and what it means. Enough people have asked me about it where I feel like I need to come on and talk about it. So that's what I'm planning on doing. I am going to wait to begin for a few more minutes. So how is everyone that's here today, by the way? What's up with you guys? How are you? Since we're waiting and we're talking and getting a feeling for the crowd that's going to join us, please let me know how you're doing. Please let me know what's up in your life. If there's anything new, if you need help subscribing, I'm happy to help you subscribe. And I usually come on with, 2, 3, 4 times a week to do not only, usually I do readings where I pull cards and I do psychic readings. Today I'm just going to be talking about visitation versus regular dreams, because that's what people seem to want to hear right now from everything I'm getting in my personal readings, where people actually sign up and have a personal reading with me, half-hour, an hour. You can go to northernlights.1, which is listed down below. Just call me, find out about my personal readings and prices, and to contact me and to set up a schedule, a time to do a private reading, a personal reading. Hi, Apurva. I need you to subscribe, please. Today I'm going to be talking about the difference between visitations from loved ones in your dreams versus regular dreams and how to tell the difference. So I thought I would talk a little bit about that. And I'm just waiting for a few more minutes for people to come on. But if you haven't subscribed, please do so. I appreciate the support. And there's a few people here that I don't recognize. Okay, you haven't come across the screen yet, Apurva, so I'll let you know if you do. It hasn't come across as a subscription yet, but I will let you know. Usually it comes right across the bottom of my screen when you've subscribed, so hopefully that will come across. So how is everyone today? Arun, how are you today? Does anyone have anything they'd like to say or discuss or anything that's come up with them while we're waiting for more people to join us? Anyone? I don't have you down as subscribed, Apurva. I know you said you subscribed a long time back, but I don't have you on my subscription list. So you may want to subscribe again if it doesn't show that you've subscribed. Annie Lou, thank you. That would be great if you could subscribe. It's a really interesting topic, and a topic that a lot of people bring up when I'm doing private readings, talking to their loved ones who have crossed over. I do mediumship. Hi, Baya. Today we're talking about, I'm going to be doing a live reading today talking about the difference between a visitation, somebody from who has crossed over coming to visit you. And hi, Devin. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. It's good to see you. So today we're going to be talking about, I'll do some readings afterwards, but we're going to be talking about, thank you. We're going to be talking about the difference between visitations. A lot of people have been asking me that. Yeah, you may want to make sure that you're public, Apurva. Hi, Julie. So today, as you guys all come on, I'll keep reintroducing, but today we're going to be talking about the difference between a visitation from a loved one in your dream and just dreaming about somebody, what the difference is, and how you can know the difference and how it makes you feel, and know that your loved ones are reaching out to you. I've had this come up quite a few times in my private readings lately, and I was going to run a class. I was going to charge $25, but I decided to just bring it on here. So if anyone would so care to donate, feel free, listed down below. If you open the X, donations of love, I have both Venmo and PayPal, and all donations are appreciated. Thank you for my time and effort in bringing this to your attention, because I think it'll really help a lot of people who have been asking me. And then Deb and I will be doing readings too. So I'm so excited to see you, and I'm really glad that you're here. And yeah, Baya, we're trying to get up to 1,000 here. So the more the merrier. Invite your friends, invite loved ones. I said I would wait till 10 minutes. I have about 1 minute and 30 seconds left before I get started talking about this. I often get answers and dreams about people, and 5 to 6 times about spirit messages. I do mediumship, so wanted to listen about the topic. Okay, great. Well, if you do mediumship, then you understand the difference between a visitation in your dream and actually just dreaming about somebody. And that's what we're going to focus on and talk about today. I wrote down a few notes to make sure I passed on this morning while I was sitting and thinking about doing this, and I was planning on doing it as a class and charging it $25, but okay, you may want to resubscribe now, Apurva, because it hasn't come through. So now that you're public, you can resubscribe. Of course, it's and it's, as Devin knows, loved ones that come through are not only our human loved ones, but also our animal loved ones that come through, and we get messages from them as well. We get not just messages, but visitations, and that's what I wanted to talk about today. Okay, Apurva, I just got your subscription. Thank you. And if there's anyone else on here who hasn't subscribed, please do so. and grateful to have you here. Thank you. So let's get started. Anybody that comes on, I'll explain what it is I'm doing, but I would like to, at the end, I will do some readings as well. But I did want to talk about the difference between a visitation in your dream from a loved one who has crossed over, as opposed to just dreaming about a loved one. Has anyone had a dream where they think they've had a visitation from someone that's crossed over, or one of their loved ones? And we'll talk about it a little bit. I know I get them all the time. And believe it or not, even as a medium, you get them from your mom, Julie. That's lovely. So the biggest difference, I mean, there are three main differences that I wanted to talk about, because after loved ones cross over, they still maintain their form, they retain their spirituality, their personality, their identity. The only thing that isn't there is their physical body. And that's what differentiates them from us. The energy level is still the same. They still have the same energy. They still have the same desire. It's just they don't have the physical body like you and I have. Hi, Patricia. Today I'm talking about visitation in dreams versus just seeing someone in a dream, and what the difference is between the two. Recently, my dad's brother passed. It was like a conversation. Okay, so I have to tell you that usually to transcend this plane, it takes a lot of energy on our part as human beings to get to that plane or to get to that space. That's why sometimes when I come on here and I say, Jim, I wasn't planning on doing mediumship today, because usually it takes me a half hour, 45 minutes to get ready to prepare and to meditate to do the mediumship, okay? And that's the biggest difference. There's a lot of energy on our part, but in heaven, they have so much energy and spirituality, it doesn't take any on their part. So it's a very easy thing for them to come into our dreams. The first visitation of our loved one is usually like 7 to 10 days, or can be 7 to 10 days after they cross over. That's quite common when someone crosses over, between 7 and 10 days after a person or a loved one or a loved animal crosses over, that they come through. And we're going to talk more about how you'll know the difference, but that's very common. Then after the 7 to 10 days is over, there's something that's called, according to Buddhism anyway, there's something that's called a bardo period, B-A-R-D-O. It's another frequency of Huba. It's another layer. We're all in different vibrations and different layers. And in order for me to be a medium, I really have to focus and raise my vibration very, very high to meet the vibration of loved ones that are coming down. And that's why, like I said, lots of times when I come on here, it's not easy for me to just pop in and do mediumship unless I've prepared, unless I've gotten to that vibration, because it is another frequency. But it's easier for them that have crossed over to be in that energetic vibration, okay? So according to Buddhism, the first 49 days after that first 7 to 10 days is something called a bardo period. And it's when consciousness is actually separated from the person's body. So they go through this 7 to 10 day period where they're going to try to reach out to you. And then they, according to Buddhism, something called like this, right above it, this after the 10 days, for 49 days is something called the bardo period. It's kind of like an intermediate state of death. It's an intermediate. They still are in heaven, if you believe in heaven, or wherever you believe they go. They're still there. It's not that. It's that this is a time that they're actually kind of still in that limbo state where it's easier for them to cross to talk to you. And when they're separating their consciousness from their whole body, their whole spirit. And that's called the bardo, B-A-R-D-O period, according to Buddhism. Okay. Visitation dreams after the bardo period can start like 8 weeks after the bardo period and go on for many, many years. I mean, I still have my grandparents that have passed 20 years ago that come through in visitation dreams, okay? So it's not unusual. It's just that they tend to go through this beginning stage of the visitation, 7 to 10 days, and then this bardo period up to 49 days, and then after that, where they've completely separated from their physical body and they're on the other side, and they're spiritually, they're here and they're ready to have any kind of a visitation with you. Okay. And lots of times it's very common during this time period, especially after people pass or during a birthday time, a celebratory time, the anniversary of their death. It's very clear that they oftentimes bring through noises, signs, like cardinals, butterflies, pennies, feathers, you know, all the signs that we see, number patterns and so forth. That's very common for them to do. But what's also very common for them to do is, or if you also hear a song, okay, that's another sign that you're hearing a song that's coming through. Today, everybody that's just joining us, we're talking about, hi Patricia, we're talking about the difference in dreams between a loved one who's crossed over or coming to us in a actual visitation where they're visiting us and with either with a message or without, or you're just dreaming about them because you love them. So I wanted to distinguish the two for a lot of people that have had questions about this, and then we'll do some readings, okay? So listening to music, when you hear a song that's on the radio that reminds you of someone that's crossed over, really carefully listening to the words is important, because they may be sending you some kind of a signal or a message in the words, and you may not have ever noticed those particular words in the song before, and then suddenly you're noticing it. That's the same thing when I pull tarot cards. Sometimes I'll pull a tarot card for one person and I won't notice something, and then I pull a tarot card for somebody else and I will notice something. Or you may notice something in a tarot card that I'm not noticing for you, and that's because it has special meaning for you. Patricia, I think we ran into this the other day when you noticed the bat in the King of Swords card. And I didn't notice the bats because they don't have anything to do with my particular reading for whoever I'm reading for. But if you notice something in a card that I missed or I didn't notice, there's a reason you noticed it, okay? And that's a sign from a loved one that you need to look it up and that they're giving you a message, okay? So it could be in a tarot card, it can be in a song, it can be in anything, any kind of a sign like that. And it's easy to just shrug it off and to feel like, oh, these signs are just, you know, whatever. But the visitation is kind of like a whole message. It's very different than a sign, which is just, and if you have questions as we go, feel free to ask, okay? Because I don't have to go in any particular order with what I'm giving you information-wise. If you have questions, feel free to shout them out and ask them as we go, and I'm happy to answer them, okay? But it's really easy to shrug off just signs, because if you see a sign, especially somebody that isn't really in tune with their own vibration or their higher power, their own loved ones who have crossed over, they may say, oh, that's not really a sign. Yeah, Mom used to sing that song all the time, but it's really not a big deal. It just reminds me of her, instead of saying, oh, yes, it's really a sign. But when we're dreaming, it's kind of our loved ones or the people who have crossed over, it's kind of their chance. Hold on, Cheryl, I'll answer that. That's a really good question. It's kind of their chance to have you full attention, like you're dreaming, you can't wake up, so they can give you their whole message while you're right there when they're visiting you. Okay, so signs are their way of getting your attention. And yes, hi Mom, I know you're around me. I see a cardinal out there and I know that represents you. Or I find a lot of feathers, and hi Dad, I know that's you. Or Grandma, I know you, I smell your perfume, that kind of thing. But a message in a dream is different. And it's not just that you see them as part of your normal dream and they're doing everyday stuff, okay? Okay, so this is your chance to actually see them in your dreams, to feel them, to listen to them, to notice them, to sit with them without the distraction of everyday life, which is what you see when you have signs that come to you, okay? I'm going to continue. Cheryl has a really good question. Can they feel what we feel? They can see what you're feeling, but they don't really feel it the same way our energy feels it, because they're separated from the humanness of a body. Like we have a human body, and they're separated from their human body at this point, right? They've moved on. They can feel the energy that's around you. They know, and they keep an eye on you, and they watch what's happening. And especially if they come to you in a visitation, which we're going to get to as we move along, if they come to you in a visitation, they could be coming about something that you're worried about. So let's talk a little bit about that. If you believe in heaven, or wherever you believe your loved ones go to, everyone has a different place that they believe in. light is it's like flowing energy. It's light. It's buoyant. It's not this heavy energy that we often feel here down on Earth. Okay. So, and they use that energy that they feel when they're in this lighter being, when they've crossed over, to connect with you. That's how they come down and connect with you. It's very easy for them to connect with you. It's harder for us to raise our vibration. You can ask before you go to sleep for them to come and visit you. You can ask for a visitation as a sign. So sometimes when I'm driving, I might ask for a sign. Dad, I'm having a really tough day today. Can you give me a sign? Or 2 days from now, for example, the 26th is the 1-year anniversary of my mom's passing. And I know she's around me. I can feel her energy and I see little signs, and I'm going to ask her for a visitation before I go to sleep over the next few nights, because I'd really like for her to come and visit me. So you can ask for that, and quite often it's really easy for them to come and to talk to you. Now, how do you know the difference, okay, between a visitation and a dream? In a visitation, the biggest thing is the main difference between a dream and a visitation. And a visitation is very comforting. You wake up and it was very vivid. It's like you were right there with them. Hi, Joanna. We're talking about the difference between visitations from loved ones or our dreams, and what the difference is and how we feel. So if you wake up in the morning from a dream and somebody, and a loved one like your mom or your dad or someone, was front and center in the dream and they were the main focus of the dream, they don't have to necessarily have a message for you. They may just want to be around you. I will do readings after, Joanna, if you want to hang around. I would love to have that. But I just wanted to talk about this. I was going to run it as a course, but I charged $25, but then I decided that enough people were asking me in my private sessions about this that I felt like there's a lot of people out there that want to know about it. So if you feel the desire to make a donation of love, feel free. You can go down below to where the X is, and my drop-down menu, donations of love, will have Venmo and PayPal, and I very much appreciate it. Thank you. But otherwise, I'm happy to talk about this today. Patricia says, what's the easiest way to recall these events? I never remember. But Jesse says he visits me in dreams, and he does visit you in dreams, Patricia. And I know this because you and I have talked in a private reading before, and I know he visits you. And the easiest way for you to start to remember is to start a journal. And I know you and I have spoken about this. You're blocking some piece of it, and I don't know if it's because of what you're afraid he's going to say to you. But usually, if we can't remember a dream, it's because we're just dreaming about them. It's a visitation. It's going to be very vivid, very clear. They're going to look you in the eye when you're dreaming about them, or they're going to sit right next to you. You're going to touch them. You're going to feel them. They're going to they might have a message for you, or they just say they want to be next to you. That's a visitation, okay? If you just dream about them as part of your dream and they're driving a car and you see them at a store and they wave, that's a dream. But if you're actually involved with them in your dream, vivid dreaming, okay, that's when it's a visitation. And one of the big differences is it's very comforting. It's not at all fearful. If you wake up and you have a bad dream about a loved one who's crossed over, or you feel really scared or fearful of something that happened in your dream, like maybe you dreamed that they crossed over and they're giving you a message like someone else is going to pass or you're going to pass, that's not a visitation, because visitations are always comforting. The energy of our loved ones only come to us to comfort us, okay? And that's important. It's like putting a coat of love on you. When you wake up in the morning, you feel very loved. You feel very special. You feel like it was very vivid. Like I said, I'm going to be asking my mom in the next couple of days to come to me and give me that. I want to feel her around me. I want to see her eye to eye. I want to talk to her. She may, and lots of times they don't come through just because they have an important message. So don't be afraid of that. Don't be afraid to ask for them to visit you and then say, oh, you know what, I'm afraid they're going to give me a message that Jody is going to pass because she's not doing well. And so I'm not going to call her through. No, that's not the case. If it's a true visitation, it will be only happy, comforting, blanket of love around you. It'll never be something fearful or dangerous, or it'll never be a premonition dream that you need to watch out for. okay? A real visitation dream is love and peace and harmony and making you feel wonderful. It oftentimes, another really good way to distinguish between the two is that when you wake up in the morning, you have a song on your mind. And it's like you're singing it already when you wake up. How many of you have done that in the chat? How many of you have woken up in the morning and there's a song fresh on your lips? I know I have. I've woken up in the morning and there's a song that it's already stuck in my head, and it's stuck there for most of the day. Julie, when I had visitation dreams, I know in my dream that they passed. When I wake up, I feel euphoric and remember everything. Absolutely. See, that's the whole point, and how I was trying to explain it to Patricia is that he may not be actually coming or visiting you in your dreams. You may be dreaming about him because you love him so much, Patricia. When you have a visitation dream, you wake up remembering everything. You remember what they had on. You remember what they said. You remember how they smelled. You remember them touching you. You remember the happiness. You wake up just feeling wonderful. Like it just makes your day because you remember it all day long, this wonderful feeling of euphoria. So if you're not experiencing that part, then it's probably that you're dreaming about your loved one, but they may be wanting to come in to visit you, but just like regular signs that you get, like number patterns or something on the road or coins or whatever, it could be that you're just acknowledging it, but you're moving on. Yes, Patricia, I would specifically ask for a visitation. I would ask Jesse before you go to sleep to say, Jesse, I know I've been dreaming about you and I really want to see you, but I want you to visit me in my dream. I want you to come to me. And in the morning or after the dream, it could be at 3 in the morning, because between 3 and 4, remember, is that when the veil is the thinnest. So lots of times it's easiest for our vibration to rise, even if we're not mediums. So they can easily come down and visit us. So between 3 and 4, and you may wake up right after the dream. It may last what seems like 3 hours, and it's actually 5 minutes because there's no time in heaven, right? But when you wake up, if you remember it really clearly and you remember them coming and talking to you and being a part of your dream and sitting and touching you and you smelling them, and if they're the central character in your dream about them, they kind of blend into the background. You always wake up between those hours. That's because he's probably trying to contact you. But for some reason, I don't want to say you're blocking it, but there's a fear there of something with him. There's a fear there of him coming through and actually sitting next to you. And you yourself have to decide what it is that you might be fearful of. Is it that you're fearful that he might tell you the truth about something? Or you're fearful that it'll scare you if that person actually sits next to you and touches you or talks to you or right in your line of sight. But I did ask the question, how many of you guys have woken up in the morning and heard a song in your head? Has anybody had that happen? Because absolutely, Patricia, many times. Yeah, me too. And when you have those songs, play that song during the day that's in your mind. Especially if you don't remember the words, play the song because your loved one is giving you a message in that song. Okay? Visitations are clear, concise, vivid. They feel very real. Okay? It feels like you were just sitting with your loved one. It's not, yes, they were in the background and I waved to them across the room in a ceramics class. No, this is very, very real. It's comforting. It's nurturing. It doesn't make you feel fearful at all. And we wake up with regular dreams when we're dreaming about somebody that has crossed over. We wake up and we say, I wonder if that was a visit from them, or I wonder if I was just dreaming about them. If you're confused on which it is, it's just a dream. It's not a visitation. Because with a visitation, you will most definitely know they came to see you and they came time to spend time with you. They came during that time to spend time with you. Okay? There will not be any confusion. You will not question it. It'll be crystal clear. the energy behind it. Okay, so that's important for you to remember. They're very in focus. They're very, lots of times they'll look you right in the eyes. Lots of times they're sitting right next to you. And I wrote down, or they might give you a message, not always, but sometimes they give you a message not to worry about something. And I talked about the song, and then would ask for a visit. Okay, don't hesitate to ask for a visit. This is the easiest way for your loved ones to connect with you. Okay, it takes a lot. Like I said, they have boundless amounts of energy up in heaven. There is no ceiling on the amount of energy they have compared to the ceiling that we have energy in our emotional bodies. Okay, because we have a physical body to take care of it, so it limits our energy. They have no limitation on their energy, so they can come to you in their dreams. They can come to you in signs. The dream, you know what I wrote down. I just don't want to forget anything I wrote down because I was writing down all my ideas this morning. And I talked about pay attention to the words in a song if you wake up with a song, okay? Ask for a visit. If you see them in a dream, see a sign when you wake up. Oh yeah, this is something I wrote down. When you wake up in the morning, if you see suddenly, like the other morning I woke up and I saw a hawk flying by my bedroom window, and I know my mom always comes to me in hawks. So even though I don't remember dreaming about her, I know she must have visited me and I feel very sure about that because I see a hawk and that's my representation from my mom. Maybe it's a cardinal for you. Maybe it's pennies. Maybe it's lights flickering. Maybe it's things moving in your house. Whatever it is that you know represents them, okay? And if you haven't been able to see any signs, it's because you're trying to specifically put a sign with them while they were alive. For example, my mother never had anything to do with hawks when she was alive, okay? But since she's crossed, from the day she crossed over, which is in 2 days from now, it'll be a year, whenever I'm thinking about something or I'm worried about something, or I say, Mom, I need a sign that this is going to be okay. Or, I mean, I do it myself, 5 times a day. Just because I'm a medium and I can bring people through doesn't mean when I'm not in the same circumstance you are or I'm asking for help. Okay, so, and if I wake up or if I'm sitting in bed or if I'm walking, I go out and I take walks every morning. I mean, it's hard in the winter, but I bundle up because my mom follows me. There's always a hawk. I always see a hawk when I'm walking, and I always see a crow when I'm walking. And those are signs that I know she's around me and she loves me. So my mom had nothing to do with crows or hawks when she was alive. So I think the reason sometimes we miss signs when our loved ones cross is because we're looking for something that only represents them. Oh, she had a butterfly tattoo, so I can only look for butterflies. Oh, she always wore the color purple, so something purple. No, signs can be anything that is out of the ordinary that comes to you in your everyday life. Okay, and that's important for you to know. And another thing is that sometimes you'll know that a visit has happened. And you might be questioning, but a visit has happened when somebody calls you the next day or sends you a message or sends you a picture and say, look, I happen to find this picture of, for example, my mom or somebody's brother or son or dog or horse, whoever it is. Say, you know what, I had this really nice picture and I found it. And it's that same day that you had the visitation. Okay, that's a sign. That's a clear sign. Quite often it also means, and this is a whole other topic that we can talk about at another time, but quite often it means that person that's bringing you that sign from your loved one or from like if somebody called me or sent me a text message and said, look, I forgot I have this lovely picture of your mom. I thought you'd like to have it today. That means they're part of your soul family. Okay, which is really an exciting thing. So if they have something or they connect with you on that same level, they're part of your soul family as well. And you just haven't identified that. And like I said, that's a whole nother topic to get into. Okay. But there is a book. Oh, and also remember when they come to you in a dream, you may still see them as sick. You may see them lying in bed. You may see them as sick. That's you dreaming of them. When they come in a visitation, they're always healthy. That's why whenever I do mediumship, They always come through healthy and feeling great. And people always say, you know, how they doing? And I'm like, oh my gosh, they just kick their heels together on the side because they're happy and they're healthy and they feel great. And that's how you know you've really got spirit with you. That's how you know it's a true visitation. They're no longer sick, because when they go up to heaven or wherever you believe they go to after they pass, whatever your belief system is, they lose all the physical body that we hold on to our whole life. Okay? They're just a spiritual being full of energy and love and light now. Okay? So they don't have that physicalness anymore. They don't have that limp that they used to have, or they don't have that pain in their hip, or they don't get those migraine headaches anymore, or they don't have that and that it's not a dream, because they come to you and they talk to you and it's like they're 30 years old. Okay? They're not that person that you watch take their last breath. Okay, so that's a really big distinction also, to know that it's not a dream, because in a dream you could see them as still sick, or that you're visiting with them, and that doesn't mean they're coming to you when they're sick. That just means you're dreaming about them because you love them. Okay, but if they come to you and they're perfectly healthy and they're sitting and they're saying, Lisa, I really want to say hi. I just want to watch you. I love you. I don't have an important message. Nothing to worry about. I just want to sit here and be by your side. And that's a visitation. Okay? There's a really, really great book that I wanted to end on that everybody can get. It's called The Dreams Book of the Dead. The Dreamers Book of the Dead by Robert Moss. Really great book. Talks about the difference, all the differences we've talked about here today, some of the differences between a visitation and a dream, as well as really going into how to call in for visitations and so forth. It's an excellent book. It's out of print, but I know like Amazon still has it. A few places still have it. You might find it in old bookstores, and it can always be ordered by somebody in a bookstore for you because it is out of print. But it's an excellent book. So it's called The Dreamers Book of the Dead, and it's by Robert Moss. Yes, Robert Moss, Patricia. The Dreamers Book of the Dead. Let me write it in here for you guys. By Robert Moss. Okay? And that's a really, really good book to find out more about this. I'm going to pin it so it'll stay up. So you'll learn a lot about it and about signs and how they work, and that you don't have to just think of a sign being something that your loved one was somehow related to. Okay, a sign is how they're choosing now that they're passed to come to you, but it'll always continue to come to you the same way. So when I'm out taking a walk and I'm doing my meditating and I'm thinking, I might be saying, Mom, let me know if I'm on the right path here, because this seems a little odd. The hawk will come right into my vision, or two hawks will come into my vision. And that's my mom saying, yes, you're on the right path. Number patterns. If you're just watching TV and you look up and it's 1111 or 222, or you see a license plate while you're driving that says number 333, or a number that meant something, 156, maybe it's their birthday, maybe it's the day they passed, 112, something like that. That's also a sign from heaven, okay? I happened to talk to my mom before she passed. She didn't know she was going to be passed, but passing. She was 90, almost 90. And I mean, I'm sure she knew in the next few years she wasn't going to be passing. She passed very suddenly. Her heart just gave out, and I was with her. Thank goodness. She didn't want to die alone. So I consider that a blessing, even though I saw her pass, and that's not always easy because I keep remembering it and it makes me sad. I know that it made her happy to have me there. So that was important for her. Our loved ones always choose how they pass. That's why many times people come to me when they come for a private reading and they say, I feel so badly, I feel so guilty. I just left the room for 2 minutes to go to the bathroom, and she died during those 2 minutes. That's the time they chose. Okay, they always choose their passing time. And if they chose to pass when you weren't there, it's because they didn't want you to see them take their last breath. It could be for a number of reasons. It could be they didn't think that you could handle it, or they didn't want to leave you with that burden forever. It could be that you had already talked to each other and given your blessing for them to let go. And they were very private people and they wanted to pass alone. So they always pass on their own terms. Okay. My mom happened to pass. Her wish was never to pass alone. She always wanted somebody with her because she didn't want to be afraid. So as she was passing, hearing is the last thing to go, just so you know. As she was passing, even though I know she probably had already gone from her body, I laid with her until EMV got the rescue got there. And I kept saying that I love her, how much I loved her. She wasn't alone. She was going to be fine. She was going to be happy, and that her loved ones were on the other side. And I just kept saying it while I held her, while she was sitting on the floor. You're fine. I'm right here with you. Don't be afraid. Okay? I'm right here. And sometimes that makes all the difference. Okay, so they choose the time and the way they pass. And I'm getting into other topics here, and I didn't really want to do that. That's really kind of like a part 2 to where I am, and that's why I was going to do it as a special kind of a $25 class, because I thought that everybody who wanted to take it could benefit from it, and anybody who didn't want to take it didn't have to stay. And it looks like that happened anyway, because I only have 7 people left out of all the people that originally signed on. Thank you, Patricia. It's in my memory. I'm seeing her passing, and I have to remind myself that that's what she wanted. And if I think about it, that's probably how I wanted, because if she had passed when she was by herself, we had just taken a walk and we came inside, and she sat down and she kind of just put her head to the side and she was gone. But if she had passed when I wasn't there, I would have always felt like, oh my gosh, I should, just like you guys always do, I should have been there. I should have, she died by herself. She must have been so afraid, because that was one of her biggest fears. So she chose to cross with me there, even though she knew I'd probably always see it over and over again. She knew as a nurse I'd probably seen it many times. But she also knew that she didn't want to pass alone. She wanted me there, and that I probably would have really regretted it had she passed when I wasn't there. I always would have wondered, why did you do that, Mom? I wanted to be there to help you feel safe and secure. Okay? So that's such a part of it. I have a few questions. Thank you, Patricia. Maya, how do I ask them to physically visit me? I want to see and hug and interact with your family. Before you go to sleep at night, that's kind of like the time when I do a little bit of meditating or a little bit of quiet time, and I'm grateful and I'm thankful for the universe for another wonderful day, or I'm thanking the universe for helping me. And that's the time that I usually say, or I'll call out to a loved one and say, you know what, I'd really love for you to visit me. And I don't give them a timeline and say, make it tonight. I usually say, in the next couple of nights or in the next week, can you come and visit me? Because I really need to see you. I really need to be able to be next to you and touch you and feel you. I'm feeling like I need this from you. And they do hear us, Maya, okay? It was scary for me. But I was so involved in the moment, Julie, that I didn't think of the being scared. Now I look back and I think, oh my gosh, how did I do that? But just holding her and telling her she was fine, and then later meditating and knowing that her loved ones met her and how she went, to heaven and so forth, really helped me. And you can get that by, if you do have a private reading with me, we can go through exactly how they felt at the time and the messages they want to pass to you. And that's what a lot of people get when they do a private mediumship reading. Maya, right now it's just feelings. If it's just feelings and you seeing them, then they're not actually visiting you, but you can ask them to visit you, just like you said. Just ask them. And peripherals. I'm not sure what that means. Like other people around you, Maya, is that what you mean by peripherals? Or they're kind of, if they're not the main focus of your dream, if you don't wake up saying, my gosh, my mom was right there with me, my dad was right there with me, my horse was right there with me, something that I loved, my dog, he was right in my dream, then that is how you connect, okay? And they will connect with you. They will. Sometimes it just takes practice, and it takes letting go of that fear. Sometimes we have a little bit of a fear of, what are they going to say to us? Are they going to give us a message? What if somebody's ill in our family? Are they going to tell me someone's going to die? Remember, visitation dreams are never about fear, okay? Visitation dreams are comforting. They're like covering you with a blanket of love. They're peaceful, they're loving, they're kind, they're vivid, they're clear, they're precise. But you're always left in the morning with that feeling of love and comfort. Okay? And that's the biggest difference. Thank you, Maya. That's sweet of you to say. Maya, like I see silhouettes out of the corner of my eye in the physical, and I feel ancestral presence strongly, but I haven't received sight yet. You may not ever receive sight when you're awake. That's really a mediumship thing. And if you're born with that gift, which I'm a third generation and I was born with it, and that's why I do mediumship private readings for people, because it's easy for me to connect because I have that gift of clairvoyance and clairaudience. Not everybody has that gift. Everybody has the gift of being psychic, where we can be in tune with our feelings and in our intuition and so forth, but you may never see them out of the corner of your eye. It is quite common to see people that look like your loved ones that cross kind of out of the corner of your eye. It's very common. And it's them trying to materialize, but they're not going to materialize if you're not a medium. Okay? But they will come to you in your dreams, and that's the difference. And I know I've spent about 45 minutes on this, but I wanted to make sure I covered everything. And now I want to be able to answer your questions. And then I can do a couple of readings before I sign off. But does anybody have any questions about what I talked about and the difference between the visitation and the dream state, and how you're going to feel so different, right? And if you're sitting in the car and you suddenly hear a song, then it brings you back to a time with your loved one. Really listen to the words that are in that song, because they're probably sending you that song. I've actually heard a song and not paid much attention, and somebody who was with me changed the song, and it's on another channel because they weren't meant to change the song. I was supposed to hear the words. Okay, and that's really important for you to know. So really listen to that. Hi, Lucy. I would suggest you go back to the beginning at some point, honey, and listen, because we've been talking all about the difference between visitation in a dream from your loved ones, people and loved ones who have crossed over, or animals, etc., who have crossed over, the difference between visitation and the difference between just dreaming about them. Okay, and so the last 45 minutes we've been talking about that. So you may want to go back and listen. It's really wonderful. And I also pinned the name of a book where you can get more information. The name of the book is called The Dreamer's Book of the Dead by Robert Morse. And like I said, I was going to do this as a paid class. I was going to charge $25, but I really felt like a lot of people needed to hear this. If anybody would really care to donate from my time and efforts, I would love that and appreciate that. Thank you. Down below, you can open up. Oh, thanks, Dawn. You can open up the X that's down below, and you get a Dropbox and donations of love. There's PayPal, there's Venmo, and my friend Dawn is on, who's an amazing reader, also, who works with me, and she helped me set up Venmo, actually, so I'm grateful to her for helping me. Some people asked me to set up Venmo so they could donate by credit card or charge card or whatever. So they're both listed below. If anyone would care to donate, I appreciate it. How are you, Dawn? And thanks for saying that. I just felt drawn this morning to be able to come on and talk about the difference, because in 2 days it'll be the anniversary of my mom's passing. So I've been thinking a lot about asking, for her to come through. I've had her come through many times in visitation, and I really would love her to come through in the next few days, because it is her anniversary and I miss her so much. So I'd love to see her and really feel her with me. It is an interesting topic, Julie, and it's one that, like I said, many people ask me in private readings. How do I, when I do my mediumship, how do I know it's definitely them? And I can smell them many times, and they're sitting and they're looking right at me, and I hear the messages they're giving me, and that's how I know. Dawn, I'm well. I'm well. It's interesting timing. My Graham's anniversary is the 27th. Oh, so it's interesting. If you want to ask for your Graham to come through for a visitation, Dawn, I know you know how to do that anyway, but I'll be asking my mom, and I'm sure you'll be asking your Graham. I didn't realize they were so close together. That's fascinating. Anybody have questions? I know I've spent almost an hour on this. But I think it's an important topic, and those of you that stayed, obviously it was important to you. It's fascinating, it really is, and it's really how our loved ones can connect with us. And for those of you that haven't gotten a private reading, it's a way for you to connect if you can, or to work on it. If you do want a private reading, please go down below to northernlights.one, look up my readings, and then my phone number is there. We can set up a private reading and bring through your loved one and all the messages they have to offer. Dawn says, I have her old sewing machine. Oh, I'm sure I'll be smelling her cigarette smoke in the next couple of days. I'm sure you will too, Dawn. I'm sure she's around you. Absolutely. I mean, she's like right here actually with you. So I thought today I would do, I'm just going to do 5. So it's kind of, don't everybody jump in there, but I'm just, because it's already been an hour and I really, wanted to make sure I covered everything, so that you guys felt very comfortable. As I walk by, she sends a waft of smell every so often. Oh, that's lovely. And you say, hi, Graham. So Dawn's giving you the perfect example, although she has mediumship gifts. And so she does smell or hear or and so forth. So, and that quite often will come to you. Little things will come to you that make you realize that it's them. Julie says, my mom catches my hand as I'm walking down the street. Another time I walked in the living room and she was sat there and we had a beautiful chat. Well, that's lovely. That's lovely, Julie. So clearly you have some mediumship capabilities that you may not have known that you have, because not everybody can do that. So that's wonderful. And that's kind of how I talk to people when I do my mediumship readings, is I call them in and they come to me and it's like they're sitting next to me and they're talking to me and giving me messages, or signs or examples and so forth to the people that I'm doing the reading for. So it's very similar how I do that. Do you guys have questions for me? And Dawn, I'm going to start with you because I have your Graham. She's here. So I want to bring her through for you. And I smell Jean Naté. So I'm not sure if she wore Jean Naté. It's a yellow powder that had a black circle around it, around the bottom of it. It had a big powder puff in it, and she'd have to put it up. Do you remember that, Dawn? Do you remember the smell of Jean Naté? It's a distinct smell. And it was a powder puff that everybody used to get into. So she always had, it was always on the back of her toilet, she's telling me. And she would always have to put it up. I know someone wore it, but not sure who. Ask your mom. I'm pretty sure it was her, but definitely ask your mom. And that happens too during mediumship readings, by the way. If someone wants to get a mediumship reading, go to northernlights.one, call me and schedule one with me after I'm all done here, over the next 3 or 4 weeks. And we can schedule a meeting. But that's quite often how messages will come through. And sometimes messages come through and they'll almost always bring through messages that you'll understand to me. But every once in a while, they'll bring through a message and you'll be like, you know what, I don't recognize that. And I'll always tell you, write it down and ask someone in your family. And then text me back when you figure out what it is. Okay? Lucy, I'm not going to do regular readings. I'm just going to do a few mediumship readings today because that's what we're talking about. So, Dawn, let's finish talking to your grandma, your Graham today, who will definitely come through for you, she's telling me. She says, did you get your love of knitting and crocheting from her? Because she was very creative. Yes, you did. Yeah, because she's talking about the fact that she loves everything that you're doing right now. And I happen to know everything that you're doing, and she's thrilled with it. She says, be careful with the new thing you're doing, though, because you don't want to have people stop coming to you who might not like it. I don't know what that means. Oh, yes, I do know what that means. It's about Bernie. Okay? So just, I mean, be careful. You may want to put it out there to people that you know would like that, but not totally in general, because you may lose some of your regular clientele, she says. She loves the fact that you're doing it. She loves your hair color. Did you change your hair color again? Because it's political. Did she not like political stuff, Dawn? Is that why she's telling me? She's saying to be careful with that. That's all. Because it's political. Yeah. Did she not like politics? Because I feel like she's kind of like going like this to me, like she doesn't want to talk. She never wanted to talk politics. She thought that was everybody's own personal right to hold that dear to themselves, that they didn't have to share it with anybody. Does that make sense? I don't know really. I think she's actually talking about a stitch I have trouble with. Oh, quite possibly. So be careful with it. We're doing questions, but I'm really just bringing through like 5 people's loved ones today. Since I'm already in that high vibration because we've been talking about visitation, I thought I would just stay in that high vibration and just bring through loved ones on his mittens. So she's so funny. Oh, that's so funny that she's bringing that up. Be careful. Yeah, she's showing me. She's showing me you stitching, and be careful with it. You're putting felt on the back of the mittens or something like that? Are you going to... She would tell me not to care about who doesn't like it. Oh, that's funny. Because she's telling me just to be careful because it's going so well. But I think you're right. On his face is felt. Okay, because she's showing me felt. You're ready to go, which is great. Maya, yep, as soon as I'm done with Dawn, okay? Because I want to make sure everybody gets a real full reading. That's what. Dawn, do you have any questions for your Graham? She's very happy, which I know you know. You'll be next, Maya. And like I said, if anyone would like to, feel free. Donations of love is down below, PayPal or Venmo. I really appreciate it. Thank you. It's kind of like you're getting a reading for free here today. Because I was going to do this class, like I said, and charge $25, but I really thought a lot of people needed to hear it. Dawn, do you have a question for your grandmother? She's making me feel like you have a question. What's with the ring? She's talking about her wedding ring. My mom, is she okay? Not health-wise, but is she with my mom? Yes. Yes. She answered yes, Dawn, so that's why I just said it loud. She is with your mom. It's not about health, but she's a warrior. She's got a lot going on right now, so she is with her and helping her. Okay, Cheryl, you can be after Maya. My mom is alive, but I think she's struggling with something. She is. She's also a little depressed, Dawn, your grandmother is saying. Do you find that you've noticed some depression? She doesn't share. Okay. She will be around her, though, so keep comfort in that, she says. Keep comfort. I was going to say have comfort, and she corrected me. She says keep comfort in that thought. So I don't know if she used to say something like that. Yeah. But she does have a little bit of depression that's going on. She's lost a lot of people, is what I'm hearing. Has she lost a lot of people this year? Julie, I'm only doing readings to loved ones today. I'm only doing 5 readings to loved ones. I know I'm not doing all readings, Joanna, though. I'm just doing Dawn and then Maya and then Cheryl and then 2 other people. I'm doing mediumship. That's all today. I'm only doing 5 people because it's very draining. So I don't want people, you know, I raise my vibration, so it's really hard to stay right up here, okay? But I will be back to do that, I promise. So Joanna, if you want to put Dawn and then Maya and then Cheryl and Patricia, because I do have Patricia's son. Patricia, I hope you're still here, because Jessie is still here. I want my Graham to come to me. I sent her away years ago when I was afraid of my gifts, and I want her back. Okay, she hears that. Okay, light up your shrine, Maya, because you're next. Oh, good, Patricia. You'll be the 4th one. Okay, so those are the 4, Joanna. She will come back to you. She knows you want her back. Ask for a visitation, Dawn, just what we've been talking about. She can hear you, I'm telling her now. Okay? She has stayed away. Okay. She knows you're not afraid anymore. She will come to you. Okay? She says you are not using your gifts, my dear. Those are her words. You are not using your gifts, my dear. I love you too, unless you're saying love you to her. But I love you too, Dawn. You might be saying love you to her. She has gifts. You know this, though, correct? Your grandmother? It skips generations. She has gifts and you have her gifts. You know this, right, Dawn? You know that your Graham had gifts? My nose always runs when I'm talking to them. Sorry. That's because I questioned my gifts. Yes, she did. And you got them from her. So she doesn't want you to question them anymore. She knows you question them, but she wants you to use them. Even if it's not for business, she says. She doesn't know that you're ready. She thinks you think you're not ready for that. But she was always available to friends and family, and you can be too. And when you're ready, you can do this. You have strong gifts, she says. And I know we've discussed this many times, Dawn, but you haven't been willing to use them because you don't feel confident in them. Get this book or get a book on mediumship. It's important for you to expand, she says. I was saying I love you to you. Oh, I love you too. I thought you were saying it to me, but you could be saying it to her too, because I know how much you love her. She's so sweet. She has wonderful energy. She just showed me a flash of a witch. She showed me this quick flash, and she looked like right out of the Wizard of Oz. So I think she's just showing me that there's a lot of power in your family. Oh, Dawn, my pleasure, hon. You know that anytime. All you've done for me. There's a lot of strength in your family in that magic. Okay, you just have to reel it in and figure out how to put it into almost like this center ball of energy that you can, because right now it's kind of like all over the place, but you have the ability, and she just wants you to really rein it in. She's showing that just like that. She and my great aunt, I think, look like the witch from Oz. Well, that's the picture she just showed me, was the Wizard of Oz witch, green face and all. It was very, very quick. But I just feel like there's great magic there, and you have great abilities, but she wants you to kind of, and she keeps showing me this picture of you reining it in, okay, into this like ball of energy that you can draw from. Because right now it's kind of spread out so much, it's really hard for you to pick stuff, but you have the ability, it's here, you just need to really hone it. That's her word, by the way, hone it. Yeah, you're all over the place, but you don't need to be. She says if you practice, it just takes a honing. She keeps using the word hone. Just hone your muscles, because you take after her. You have that same ability. She says you're the only one. Interesting. You're Reiki. Absolutely, Dawn. What is this with the wedding ring? Because she won't let it go. She keeps talking about her wedding ring. Do you have her wedding ring? Or does your mom have her wedding ring? You're the only one who has the power. That's what she says. You're the only one that has the same magic to the extent that she had. Others will have minor little things. She said, like your daughters, they will have minor psychic abilities, but they won't have the full mediumship. That's what she's saying. Like the ability to connect with those who have crossed, like you do. You're the only one who's left. That's interesting. Okay, so you're going to check. Yeah, check with your mom to see if she has the ring, because somebody has it and she's asking about it. So I feel like she keeps bringing me to my ring. That's how I know it's about a ring. But maybe she wants you to have it. And I think your mom would be okay with that. It's a full circle, she's saying, and a full circle is magic. So I think she wants you to have it. You're the only one left who has it, she says. She's correcting you, or she's correcting me. You're the only one left who has it. So I don't know if this might have been her sister or somebody else, but you're the only one left who has the ability. Definitely ask your mom, but she would love you to have it because it's a full circle, and a full circle is magical. She's showing me that. That's why I just did that. Do you have any questions for her, hon? She will come to you. You just have to ask. She will come to you. She's been staying away, but she would love to come to you. She says she has a lot to teach you. So I really feel like you'll learn a lot from her, which is lovely. I don't think so. Well, maybe, but I can ask. I'm not sure what you're answering me to. No, I don't think so. Well, many, but I can ask. I'm not sure. I was talking so much. Oh, you have many questions. Well, is there anything in particular you'd like to ask? She feels great. She's really proud of you holding your family together. She says she knows it's been a tough year, but you've really been like the cornerstone of your family. I know, I'm sure you do. Is there one main thing that's standing out that you'd like answered, hon? She loves you very much. She's happy that you're going to let her in. She's wanted to come in for quite a while, but she's also wanted to work with you with your gifts. So be prepared, she says, because she's going to be wanting to work with you in your gifts. Okay? Dawn, keep me posted, hon. She's very strong, and I think her energy is so strong because it's so close to the time when she passed. She's very happy. She's very much at peace. Is this part of what your mom is like so upset about, honey? You're welcome, Dawn. Is this what your mom is because of the anniversary? Hi, Sharon. You may want to look at this from the very beginning when we're done, because I'm just doing like 5 mediumship readings today, but I talked for about 45 to 50 minutes today about the difference between a visitation in your dream, or just dreaming about someone? Okay, Linda, you were the 5th person to ask. So I have all 5 people now. I'm only doing 5 readings today, and Maya is next, and Cheryl, and Patricia, and Linda. She feels guilt about not being able to for her own mom. Yeah, and that's part of it, and she's going to try to be around her a lot, and that's part of your mom also remembering the date coming up. That makes a big difference. Maya, Cheryl, Patricia, and Linda. It's also my parents' wedding anniversary that day. Oh, wow. Okay. So wow, that's awful that your mom has to remember that on her anniversary. But it's an important day, obviously. So definitely try to talk to your mom. I know your mom's very private, but try to talk to her about some of this, okay? Okay, hon. Love you. Light my candles and burn my path. Okay, good. All right, hon. I'm going to order one of those Bernies from you, too, at some point, so. Thank you, hon. Maya, you're ready to go? Who would you like to bring through, sweetie? Dawn, thank you for sharing your grandmother with me. Lucille Ellie, please. This is your grandmother, Maya? Eli? Eli. Ely. Or Ely? Ely. Eli. Lucille Eli? Lie? Lye? Is that right? Lucille Eli? Is this your grandmother, Maya? Great grandmother. Yes, perfect. Eli. Okay. Lucille Eli. So let me surround you with angels. I'm going to call on Archangel Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, Uriel. To bring you messages of love and light for only your highest and best. She had glasses that used to have a chain around that she would wear. Is that right? And she would wear them at the end of her nose, she's showing me. But she would put them down here and they would sit because she had something attached, a chain or something. And I feel like someone made that for her, that chain. She sure did. Did someone make that for her, hon? Because I don't feel like it was a regular chain. I feel like it was something made out of little tubes and little pieces of plastic jewelry. Like it was homemade. The thing that held her glasses. Not to your knowledge. Okay, ask somebody. Okay, write that down. And ask somebody about that because that's what she's showing me. And she has on a white sweater that she would button the top button. So I don't know if she always wore a white sweater and she would always button the top button. I'm getting very warm. Sounds right. I'm getting very warm while I'm talking about her. Did she always get very warm? Was she a warm, like, did she always get overheated? Or at the end when she was ill, did she get overheated a lot? Because I'm getting very hot and sweaty talking to you while I'm talking to her. Okay. Ooh, she's full of a lot of heat. Ah. She's proud of you, Maya. She thinks you're doing wonderfully. She says you worry about things too much. She wants you to stop worrying. Are you a worrier? Do you worry about a lot of things? She's making me feel like you're quite the worrier. Like once you're done worrying about one thing, you move on to something else to worry about. You need to have that in your life, that worry, she says. You too be worrying. Okay. But not just a little. Like some people worry a little. I feel like this is like your full-time thing. Very anxious. Okay, so that's what it comes. That's what she's talking about then. The worrying is the anxiety. Okay. Do you ever do breathing exercises to help with that, Maya? At some point, if you ever want to do a private session with you, I can walk you through some breathing exercises that help with anxiety. Okay? But let's get back to your great grandmother. Is this on your mother's side? Is this on your great grandmother on your mother's side? I started and breathing has helped tremendously. Good. Because I have a lot, if you don't have them, a lot of really good techniques to help you with the anxiety. Yes, your mother's side. She's taking ownership of you as if she helped raise you. Did she help to raise you, hon? I live in her house. Oh, okay. Did she help to raise you? Was she around when you were little? She's the glue that held all of us together. Yes, the family matriarch. She's my strongest spirit guide as well. Yes, she is. She's coming through loud and clear. But she's saying it takes a village. So I feel like she feels like she was part of a group of people that helped to raise you. But she was definitely an important part of that. She knows you're worried about leaving her home, that you're not going to be able to connect with her anymore. Is that right? Is that a concern of yours? Because she says she will follow you wherever you go. She is not connected to the house, even though that was her house. She's connected to you. So not to worry about that. She will always be with you. You talk to her all the time. She says you have this area that's all set up, and you often touch it when you go by as if, just to remember that she's right there. Or you like put a kiss on it, or I don't know if there's like a candle on it. There's a lot of different stuff on it. There's a picture, there's a candle, there's a mass card, there's rosary beads. Okay. And there's a candle, and you're always touching it. You're always touching this area. Is there rosary beads on there, hon? Yes. Okay. Because she's showing it to me, and she always hears you when you talk to her. So don't hesitate. You're always like, why am I talking to her? It's my ancestor shrine. Oh, that's beautiful. She comes through the most for you, she says, though. She tries to talk to you the most because you talk to her the most. She hears you when you talk to her. Okay, so she wants you to know that. Have you asked her to come through in a visitation dream yet? She does for sure. She hears you. Yeah, and she talks to you. Have you asked her for a visitation dream? Feel this warmth around me, and yes, I did. Okay, good. You feel this warmth around you right now? Because I'm certainly feeling the heat. I mean, she's exuding all this heat. She is here. You don't have to say come through. She is here, honey. She's definitely around you. I feel like she's around you where you are right now. Are you standing by this place where you lit these candles and did this saging? Or are you sitting near it? She's making me feel like it's all incorporated in your environment. I'm not afraid anymore. And yes, I feel the warmth all around me right now. Yeah, because she's right around you. I mean, it's almost like she has her arms around you, keeping you safe and making you feel that way. It's lovely. She's sitting right in front of you. Beautiful. She says you have some questions for her, hon. You have a necklace of hers, or you have something on a necklace that has meaning, that sits over your heart, she says. Yes, the cross. Okay, so you do wear that because she's talking about it being over your heart and that it has special meaning. And I have her rose quartz bracelet. Okay, beautiful. And so that brings in love, as you know, and that's bringing in her love. Whenever you talk to her, she just feels you. You have a very strong connection, hon. She really feels your energy. And I feel like she talks to you more than she talks to anybody. And you talk to her more than you talk to anybody. I feel like there's a real strong connection between the two of you. She used to wear this, those are happy tears, Maya. Those are happy tears. She used to wear this, something over her clothes, and it snapped up the front. It was like this coat of some kind, like a house coat. There you go. She just corrected me. And it's white and has little pink flowers on it. She had a lot of them, but that was her favorite. And she would put it over her clothes and she would snap it up. Do you remember that? And she's showing me like nylons that she used to roll down to her knees because she didn't like to keep them up top, but she would always keep them right above her knees. So there was this big roll above her knees of nylons. Oh my gosh, she liked to feed everybody. I keep seeing her, like as people come in, she's showing me people coming in. She'd be like, what can I get you? Do you want a plate? Can I get you something? Can I, like, she always had food. She always wanted to feed people. That's how she loved people, was by feeding them. She says, you do the same thing. So do you do that also, Maya? Everything is on point. Do you feed people out of love? Because that's what she did. I love to feed people. That's my love language. It is. And it was her love language. And I think you get that from her because she always fed people as well. And she sees that you do the same thing. I have questions regarding developing my gifts. I'm going to move to Atlanta after stopping in Delaware. And will I meet my love in Atlanta? She says that's up to you. She's doesn't get into your love life, but she's always bringing people in that you might possibly like. But I will answer the question regarding you developing your gifts, okay? I'll pick one question to answer for you. And she says really the same thing I've said over and over. It's working a muscle. It's working that ability. It's reading as much as you can about it and learning the tricks of the trade and how to. When I say the tricks of the trade, I don't mean that there are tricks. I just mean learning how to call in your loved ones, learning how to feel them around you, learning how to, if you ever decide to have a private reading with me, I can go through all this with you in detail and help you and learn how to use a pendulum and all this kind of stuff. I also teach a 6-week class in how to become a medium or on mediumship, which you can contact me about at some point. But you do have gifts. And she says, wherever you go, it'll be fine. Wherever you go, it'll be fine. It's a 6-week class, 6 one-hour class lengths. So you may want to contact me on the side. I'll put my email address if anybody wants to contact me to find out about it. Because there is obviously there's a fee associated with that, because that takes a lot of time, and it's actually very organized is the best way to put it. So there's always a schedule of what we're going to go over for the day, etc. Yes, I'm moving to Atlanta to settle down and stopping in Delaware to get my money up. Are you going to work in Delaware? Is that what your money is? I have a ringing in my ear, so I know she's talking to me. I think Atlanta, she feels Atlanta is a really nice place, a really good place for you to end up. I'm not understanding the stopping in Delaware to get my money up, what that means. Are you going to be working? Yes, I want a post office job so I can transfer to Atlanta with no problem. Okay, so you're not just stopping, you're going to live there for a while, right, in Delaware? Because she's blessing that. She thinks that that's a really good idea for you. She's starting to pull away a little bit, Maya. So I'm going to send her your love from her. I want to thank you for sharing her with me. She's around you. You can just feel that heat, okay? And we'll talk. I think that's... So keep talking to her. She loves to hear from you, okay? And she loves you very much, and she's very proud of you. So keep talking to her. You're so welcome, Maya. My pleasure, hon. My pleasure. I'm really glad you brought her through and shared her with us. Thank you. My pleasure, hon. You want to share this out to your friends whenever anybody shares it and has a personal reading or shares it out and people contact me, then they get their own private half-hour reading. To my visitation. Hi, Lisa. Thank you for coming into my visitation. Absolutely going to share you with my mom especially. Okay, Maya, that's great. Kim, I don't understand what you mean. Thank you for coming into my visitation. You'll want to go back, Kim, and listen to the first hour of this, because the whole first hour of this, I talk all about the difference between a visitation while you're sleeping from a loved one and just dreaming about a loved one. So I spend the whole first hour talking about that, okay? So Kim, you'll definitely want to jump on board with that, all right? Cheryl, I'm only doing 5 readings, and Cheryl and Patricia and then Linda are next, because I spent the first full hour. I usually, like I said, I usually charge $25 for this particular class, talking about how to link in and how to bring in your loved ones, and I didn't today. So for those of you that would like to donate, that's always welcome. I'm grateful. Thank you. You can go down below on the X and have it drop down. It says donations of love. I have PayPal and Venmo, so thank you for those of you that have asked me separately in emails about donating. I'm very grateful. Thank you. Ah, you had a visitation. That's awesome. Oh, yeah, we talked about it. I'm glad. I'm glad. And you woke up so happy and feeling wonderful. And that's kind of what we talked about for the first hour. And how you felt when you woke up. We talked the whole first hour of this session, that's almost 2 hours long. I know the feeling, Linda. I know the feeling. Anyway, so Kim, yeah, how you woke up and how you felt is exactly how I talked about in the first hour. So you may want to go back and listen to that, all about visitations and feeling so wonderful and knowing that your grandmother came through, etc., which is awesome. So Cheryl, are you here, hon? Everyone's money is low, Linda, but this is how I make my living. This is what I do for a living. Cheryl? I guess Cheryl is not here anymore. Patricia, is your friend Cheryl still here? I was going to do a reading for her, hon. And thank you to all of you. I've been on for 5 months now, so thank you for all of you who have donated along the way. I'm very grateful. Oh, okay. Well, Patricia, let's talk about you. Let's bring Jessie through for you, okay? Unless there's someone else you'd like to bring through. Okay, Patty. You want to bring Jessie through. Okay, Cheryl, I'm going to put you after Patty because I've already started to bring Jessie through, okay? And then Cheryl, you can go next. I'll do your reading next, okay? It's just a mini reading. It's not a full half-hour or hour-long reading like I usually do when people book through me at northernlights.1. And Patricia's had private readings, but Jessie is right here, so I want to bring him through for you, honey. Okay? He's waiting for you to ask him to come through. He doesn't want to scare you, he's telling me. At one point, you talked about it with somebody, him coming through, or you seeing him, and you thought, and it would scare you. Hi, Cheryl. I see you, hon. As soon as I'm done with Patricia, I will come back to you. Okay? Yes. I will do a little mini reading for you as soon as I'm done talking to Patricia. You weren't here, so I already called in Jessie. So we'll go next to you, okay? But has that always been the case, Patricia? Patricia, for a while there, you were fearful of him coming through, correct? Or you were fearful of seeing him, is what he says. I think I said I would be devastated if you didn't. Oh, interesting. Okay, because he thinks that you were nervous and didn't want him to come through, but he hears you loud and clear now. So Cheryl, yes, I know you're here. I'm doing a reading for Patricia with Jesse, and then you will be next. Okay? Thank you. Patricia, are you planning on doing what we talked about to try to get a visitation reading? Everything we talked about at the beginning today? Because I feel like the way he's telling me, he will definitely come through for you. He's got a beautiful smile. He's got a beautiful smile. And he had longer hair. He had hair, like shoulder length hair. Brown. Does that sound like him, Patricia? He's a handsome guy. Did he have shoulder length hair? Because that's who I have here with me. He's got a nice smile, shoulder length hair. It was down his back. So I'm only seeing the front of it. And I feel like it comes around, but it was, okay, so he had longer hair and a nice smile. I'm seeing it as brown, but okay. And brown eyes. Oh, it was in a ponytail. Okay, so that's why it looks like it's only shoulder length to me, because he has the rest of it pulled back. Brown eyes. He knows now how much you want him to come through. So definitely talk to him when you're in bed at night, when you're going to sleep, and that you want him to come through. It may take a little bit. It may not be tonight, but it will be soon. He's promising me. He's got a daisy. He's handing you a daisy. He's very sweet. He's got a button-up shirt. He's handing you a daisy. Does that have special meaning, a daisy? Wildflowers, he's talking about, has special meaning. Wildflowers. I think this came up once before for you, Patricia, and we couldn't figure it out. Have you been able to figure it out? The wildflowers? Or were there wildflowers in front of your house or around your house? I haven't figured it out. Yeah, because he brought this up before. Remember the wildflowers? And we weren't able to figure it out then. But he's still bringing it up, and he's handing you some of the wildflowers. And he's showing me like a buttercup that he used to come in with a dandelion or a buttercup and put it under your chin, like you played a game. There are flowers around my home in North Carolina. Okay, and is that where he grew up? You did that before too? No. He did the buttercup under the chin, because that's what he's showing me. It's really cute. He's showing me himself as a little boy. He was very happy in his childhood, and that's why he's showing me himself as a little boy. He did stay there for a bit as an adult. Okay. That's how you see him as a little boy, because that's how he's showing me himself. So that's interesting. That's how you see him as well. That's lovely. As a child, he was a very happy child. Did you have a dog? He has me around. He's around a little dog that is like licking his face and right up. That was our first time when it was just us. Okay. What about the dog? Because I have a dog around, he has a dog around him that's like licking his face as a child. He's in a child version right now. A few. This feels beagle-ish to me, but gray. Floppy ears. We had Jake. Was Jake gray? Gray and brown and white, he says. Keystone. Silver. Okay, so gray. It looks gray to me, so yep, that makes sense. Silver and black. I don't know what Keystone means. Silver is like gray to me. That's the same color. That's who he has with him. Oh, the breed. Yeah, I don't know animal. I don't know dogs at all, I'm afraid. I'm a cat lover, so I wouldn't know what kind of dog that is, I'm afraid. But I do see the silver or the gray. Yes. And licking his face a lot. Like they were buddies. His tail's thumping away. The dog's tail is thumping while he's sitting there and getting licked. Or licking Jesse. He was a licker. Yeah, I could see him licking like crazy. Do you have a question for Jesse today? He's definitely going to come to you in a visitation. He promises you. But do you have a main question you'd like answered today, Patricia? And just so you know, you guys, whenever you call for a personal reading, a private reading to northernlights.one, if you go to the website and then you can call, I never remember readings because the messages I bring through are always for you. They're not for me, so they don't have any meaning for me, so I never remember what I bring through. So you always have a brand new reading every time. Good and bad. I mean, some people, but, you know, I hate to go to a psychic and have somebody say, well, remember last time we talked about this and we talked about that and how's it going? And no, I really feel like everybody should be getting a brand new reading every time. Is he happier now than when he was on this side? He says there's not a comparison. He was very happy when he was here, and he's very happy when he's there. He says he doesn't have to worry about anything there, and that's the happiness part. But actually having a physical body was very draining on him, he says. So I don't know that he's happier because he loved being around you and loved being your son, he says. But he feels a big weight being lifted, not having a physical body on the other side. Does that make sense, hon? Yes. Okay. He feels like he always got in his own way. That's what he's telling me. And that's why he didn't like his body. He didn't like to be in this form when he was here. He's happier without that. Holding him back is what he's saying. He had responsibilities that he found hard to handle. Okay. Well, Patricia, he's around you and he loves you very much. And all you have to do is ask for the visitation now that he knows everything is good. He won't come to you in front of you, but he'll be in your dream and he will come to you as if he's there. Okay? He'll wait. He says he'll wait to hear from you. And you're going to hear a song in the next day or two that'll remind you of him if you haven't already heard it today. He's talking about a song that he used to like. I don't know what that song is, but I feel like the words are going to have special meaning. So really pay attention to it. Okay, Patricia? I love him too. I will ask him. Thank you so much. Okay, and listen to in the next couple of days. Oh, you're so welcome, Patricia. He's just all around you, loving you, and he'll never leave your side. So whenever you call him, he will come through. And you'll have to text me when you have a visitation from him. I would love to hear, okay? Patricia can text me because she's had a private session with me. And once you've had a private session with me, you can text me. And we can have conversations back and forth. Okay, hon. Love you. I'm glad you came on. Thank you. And thank you for sharing. Cheryl, Patricia said you'd be coming on, and I'm really happy you're here. How can I help you today, hon? Is this your mom you want to bring through, Cheryl? Your son. Okay. I have a female that's coming through for you right now. So this could be somebody that's with your son or going to bring your son forward. This is a female. Is this your mom or your grandmom that might be around your son? This is someone that's very protective of your son and helped cross him over. Your son is backing up. He's very embarrassed, he says. Did your son take his own life, hon? I'm sorry. And that quite often happens when I'm talking to someone who's taken their own life. They back up away from me after they first come forward, and it's kind of out of embarrassment. I always see that as like he's embarrassed to come forward because he says he didn't realize just how much it would hurt everyone around him. He wasn't thinking of that. Does that make sense, Cheryl? He has said that before. Okay. Was he being bullied? Because he's making me feel like he couldn't take. You believe it? I feel like he was being bullied because he's making me feel like he couldn't take all the people that were around him and what they were saying. If that makes sense. And did he have a little bit of a lisp when he spoke with his S's? You're not sure? He's saying that he was bullied. But did he have a little bit of an S slur, like a lisp? He knows you forgive him, hon. You've told him a million times, he says, and he knows, and he's so grateful. He loves you very much. I feel like his tongue would get caught on S's sometimes. That's what he's telling me. He knows how much you miss him. He's around you all the time. This was not that long ago, correct? A little over a year, okay. It doesn't get easier. You say, you just said that to somebody. It doesn't get any easier. He says it will. He says at some point, I think Patricia's son said this also, at some point, He hopes that you will think of him and smile and not necessarily think of him and be sad. He's around you all the time. He sits with you. I don't know if this is when you're reading or you're watching TV, but he's showing me a couch, or you on your bed. You're sitting and you're watching something, and he's right there with you. You're on it now. Do you ever feel like sometimes the bed goes down a little bit or moves? Because he's making me feel like he sits with you. And sometimes that happens where the bed will seem to move a little bit, or you'll feel like it goes down a little bit. Your bed feels that way. Okay, yeah, because he's talking about that, trying to make you aware that he's right there with you. He used to wear like a St. Christopher medal, or I don't know if this was St. Christopher or Michael. He had some kind of a necklace that he would wear, but I think you have it now, correct? You don't have it, or he didn't have one? Because he's talking about it as if he had one. He's showing it to me as if he had one around his neck. He said sometimes he would take it off to put it in a car. Not that you've seen him wear. Okay, so he's trying to describe it to you. Did you put something in his pocket after he passed? I don't know if this is like before you buried him, or I don't know if he was cremated or buried. He's not telling me, but he's showing me you putting something in his pocket over his heart. Did somebody who visited him and saw him put something in his pocket? Because he says something that's dear to him. Do you know if anyone put anything in his pocket? Or if you're not sure, will you ask, write that down and ask, because he's saying that something was put into his pocket that he took with him. Or he had something in his pocket that was important to him, because he keeps showing me his hand over his pocket. What question do you have for him, hon, that I can ask him for you? Don't know what that would be. Is he happy? Okay. Write it down, because ask everyone who had a chance. Did anyone, other people have a chance to see him? Because he's making me feel like somebody put something in his pocket, like a note or something that had special meaning to him. So just ask, okay? He is happy. He's at peace. He says he's with people and he feels very loved, just like he did when he was here. He felt very loved, but he doesn't have any of the pressure that he had when he was here. That's how he's describing it. But that pressure was not from you, he says. He doesn't want you to feel that way. Did he have somebody in his life who really stood in judgment of him while he was here? Who was very judgmental? Not you, somebody else. Okay. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of things he's saying that you recognize right now, and it could be that you're not ready to hear some of the things he's saying, because sometimes that happens when you do a reading. And if somebody says no quite often, I can't change the messages I'm getting from him, and I know I have him. So it could be that you're just not ready to open up and to hear them, and we can try it again another time. Okay? He loves you very much, and he's always around you. I know, but there are things that you've put up a wall against, he says. That's how he's describing it. There's still a wall up that you're fearful of putting down. It's almost like a guard that you're protecting your heart. Then he can't come in until that's gone. Well, he can't come in to talk to you. He's always in your heart. But he can't come in to talk to you until that's lowered. That guard is lowered. I quite often read for people, and the person who they're talking to comes in and says all these things over and over, and the person sits there and says, nope, 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 that's not true, and then at the end, the person will say something like, and they'll suddenly be like, well, yeah, and I said, well, he said that about an hour ago. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it's just a wall that you can't. How do you put it down? Well, you've started it by forgiving him, and the rest of it is just asking for the universe to help you put that wall down, asking him to help you put that wall down so that you can talk to him freely. Because he wants to talk to you, but right now, even though you forgive him, there's some anger there, he says. And that's causing a bit of a block. Does that make sense? You forgive him, but it's anger at what he did. That's how he's wording it. A little bit. Okay, so once you talk to him and work through that anger part, like how could he do this? How could he not know? Why didn't he come to me? Those are all things he's saying to me. Once you get rid of that, he'll easier be able to come in and give you messages. Okay, because that wall will go down and you'll be free and open to hear from him. He understands, and he's sorry he's caused you so much pain. He understands that wall is there, and he understands. But definitely try to lower it, and then we'll try again to bring him through, okay? My pleasure, hon. Anytime. Anytime, Cheryl. We'll try again. I promise. Linda? Are you here, hon? Because everything he's bringing through is very accurate, especially about being next to you on the bed and all those kinds of things. But if there are some things that he's bringing through that they only usually bring things through that you can identify with, or somebody who I'm talking to can identify with. So that's how I know, Cheryl, that there's a little bit of a wall there I can sense. So we'll work on it. Okay? Linda, wondering, does my mom, Linda Tillman, have any messages for me? Her birthday was April 15th, 1955. She was young. Has she been gone for a very long time, Linda? She passed from something in the chest, she's showing me. I don't know if she had something with her lungs or something with her breasts. I have a lot of heaviness in the chest area, like she passed from something in her chest. No, Ocean Skies. If you want to go back and if you want to subscribe, once you subscribe, you can go back and listen. At the very beginning, I talked a lot about visitation today, and when you're dreaming, as opposed to just dreaming about someone. And then today, I was just doing a few messages for people who want to bring their loved ones through. But I do come on every 2 or 3 days. So if you subscribe and hit the notification bell, you'll be notified when I come back on, and I can definitely read you. She's been gone since 2010. Okay. So about 10 years. So she was young when she passed. And did she have something in her chest? She had a lung collapse. Okay. Because I have a lot of heaviness in the chest area. So that's why that makes me feel that way, Linda. She says you have very definitive questions for her. She doesn't have any special messages. She says she brings you messages all the time, and she brings you, they said pneumonia, yeah, because that's the heaviness I'm feeling, like her lungs filled up. She says she brings you signs all the time, so you know when she's around, but that you have a special question for her that you would like answered. That's what she's telling me. Do you have a special question, Linda? Because she says there's something that you needed to know from her, from your mom. I don't notice the signs. And that's part of what we talked about in the beginning. And that's why I said, make sure you listen from the very beginning of this for the first 45 minutes. And I talked about signs, and I talked about signs coming in, and that it doesn't necessarily have to be connected to her. It could be any sign that you notice that's out of the ordinary. But it's really important for you to listen to the beginning of this, to listen to signs when we talk about signs, okay? And if you have a question you don't remember, if you have a question I don't remember. Okay, so there's nothing you want to ask her? She is at peace. She has a female that's around her. I don't know if this is her mom or her grandmother. It's an older person that's around her. She's good. She's young. She feels great. I feel like she's in her 30s. She's showing me herself in her 30s, around that age. So I don't know if that's a time when you might have been born, but she's making me feel like it was a very happy time in her life. And she's doing wonderful. She feels great. Her mom is with her. Okay. She's very happy. She's very much at peace. She hears you when you talk to her. So she says, continue to talk to her and really pay attention when she sends signs. Certain birds when you're outside. She's talking about number patterns. Her daughter was killed in a car accident. Whose daughter was killed in a car accident? Your sister? I'm a little confused. This is your mom I'm bringing through, correct? To learn about signs, definitely go back to the beginning of this and listen, okay? Yes, your sister. I'm sorry. They're all together up in heaven. I'm glad she's very happy for her body. She had congestive heart failure. Yes, your mom. Did that run in her family, hon? Because I feel like she was very young to get congestive heart failure. I'm glad. They're very happy to be together. They're very happy to be together, and they come to see you all the time. You just have to learn about the signs that they're leaving for you, okay? And then you'll feel more surrounded by their love. Because your mom says sometimes you feel like you're alone, and you're not. They're with you all the time. Oh, I'm sorry. Will you listen to the beginning of this so you'll learn about signs, hon? And then you'll feel like she's around you a lot more, okay? I'm glad. And definitely listen to this and learn the signs, because they send signs all the time. They're always around you, okay? They love you very much. Thank you for sharing them with me. I'm glad. I think you'll get a lot out of it, honey. Thank you for sharing them with me. I know you've seen her in your dreams, but that's what I talk about, is the difference between seeing someone in your dreams and actually having a visitation from a loved one who's crossed over. And once you know the difference, you can learn. I teach you in this video how to actually call them in so they come to you, okay? Thank you for sharing them with me. And you take care. Thank you, everyone, for being here today and for listening. And I hope you go back and listen to the video. You're so welcome, hon. And I hope you get a lot out of it today. I hope you really enjoyed learning how to get a visitation and not just seeing someone in your dream. I hope that helps. All right. Have a wonderful day. And I will be back probably on Tuesday, since today is Sunday. Okay? Take care, everybody.